This episode of Breaking the Fourth Wall podcast or Breaking the Fourth Wall Weekly is brought to you by the Comic Collections. Come check out the Comic Collections at 83 Bustleton Pike, Feasterville, Pennsylvania, or give them a call at 215-357-3332 for all your collectibles and comic book and music needs. Contact the Comic Collections, 83 Bustleton Pike, Feasterville, Pennsylvania. That's 215-357-3332.
Hi, this is Eddie Beeson. You're listening to Breaking the Fourth Wall. I was Mandark in Dexter's Laboratory. Ha 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 ha.
Hey, you guys are checking out Breaking the Fourth Wall. I'm Colin Washburn. I'm here today with our friend Serenity and another friend of ours, James. We're going to talk about this Aftershock concert, a festival that just went on for a couple days. There's a lot of buzz about it, and we're going to find out. One of our buddies went there. So, James, hey, welcome to the show. Introduce yourself. Tell us what you're about. Where you from?
Hey, well, originally I'm from north central Pennsylvania, little tiny town in the middle of nowhere called Coudersport. And right now I live north of Denver. I've got some friends out in Sacramento, so I was able to fly out there and stay with them and experience 4 amazing days of metal.
Awesome. Sounds like good times. So, how was the show?
Yeah.
Did you have a good time
Uh,
at the show?
no, I had an epic time at the show. It was the best festival experience I've had in a very long time. I got to see a lot of bands that I never thought I was going to get to see. Um, so
Right.
it was really cool.
What were some of the bands that you thought you were never going to get to see?
Oh well, Misfits with Danzig. That was one of my favorites to see for sure.
That
Seeing Rancid and Dropkick play back to back was pretty sweet as well. And um, let's see, got to see Mastodon up front on the last day. That was epic. Um, and then of course Metallica. I mean, the last time I saw Metallica, it was during the Saint Anger tour, and Godsmack opened up for them, and Godsmack blew them out of the water back then. So getting to see Metallica again, 2 different nights, 2 different sets, it was epic because they played a lot of their better songs, and in my eyes they really redeemed themselves.
right. Well, it sounds like a good time. I'm jelly just thinking about getting to see Danzig, with Misfits. That's badass.
Right? Yeah. No, that was totally unexpected. They originally weren't even on um, the set list. Originally had My Chemical Romance, and they ended up dropping off after they moved the concert from 2020 to 2021 due to COVID. Um, so I lucked out there a little bit. Not that I don't like My Chemical Romance. Misfits is just, in my opinion, a better choice.
Well, they're classic. I mean, that it's like that, no question. I would have jumped on that totally.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, who's gonna have another opportunity? I mean, those bands aren't normally together. He normally isn't there with Misfits. Normally, he's doing his own thing in the movies or in something else. Some other project he's on.
Right. Yep. And then, of course, getting to see Anthrax. Um, this is
There.
their 40th year playing.
Yeah.
They're OGs of metal for sure, and
They're
they
badass
killed
live, too.
it.
Yeah.
They killed it, man.
Yeah. Yeah, Anthrax is kick ass. The last time I saw them was Rock USA a couple years back down in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. That was a good time too. So how did they handle things? Was it? Did they say, "Oh yeah, you have to have some little card that says you had your COVID shot"? I mean, what did they do?
Yeah. So if you're vaccinated, you just provide proof of the vaccination. You could have a picture of the card on your phone. You didn't have to bring the card with you, and which makes sense. I mean, if you brought the card with you, it'd get destroyed in one of these mosh pits for sure.
Right. Sure.
um, but if you didn't choose to get vaccinated, they allowed you to have a negative
Negative.
COVID test. I think a week or two before the event. Um,
Oh, okay. So it's
and
like one or the other, pretty much.
Yep, yep. And ultimately, they imposed new restrictions at the beginning of the month. Um, I think both in Colorado and in California, where now for any show that you buy tickets to after like October 1st or 2nd, you have to have full vaccination status. They aren't taking negative tests anymore, which kind of sucks, but I mean, it is what it is. I don't make those decisions.
Right. Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
wasn't it a sold out show and you said 50,000 people?
Oh yeah, 50,000 tickets were sold,
50.
and I'm pretty sure that was what they were capped at due to the COVID restrictions. I want to
Wow.
Yeah.
say, I think it was Danzig. It might have been another band though. It kind of all blurs together a little bit now. But someone was up on stage joking about there being 2 million people watching them.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
2
You
million
couldn't be
people?
there, at least stream it, right?
Right?
Well, yeah. You'd have to stream it. I mean, they'd have to do it, of course. Why wouldn't they? I mean, that's a huge event. You got to stream it.
And how many stages was there? Wasn't it outside multiple stages or just one
Yeah,
stage outside?
yeah. So the two main stages, they had the Koalas stage, and then right next to it, they had the Jack Daniels stage. In between, they had like a VIP area, and then a little ways away from the Jack Daniels stage, there was like an overpass that you would walk under, and they had a Coors Light stage there, and mostly smaller bands I think played the Coors Light stage, but there were a few over there that were definitely worth checking out. Um, I want to say, well, I have the app. I can check it out real quick. Which ones played where?
Right, right. Oh, well, we got the poster here. We can look it up. Take a look.
Yeah. So
What was your favorite
yeah,
band?
the man, my favorite band. That's a tough one. So actually, I one of my favorite bands is Mudvayne, and they played, but I didn't get to see them. I sacrificed seeing Mudvayne so I could get a good spot to see the Misfits. Um, they
That's
were,
worth it.
yeah,
Yeah.
because it was so I checked out um, Gojira, and then they were at the Jack Daniels stage. Then I went over and checked out the Offspring. They had some great concert titties for their set. It was awesome. And then
Okay.
Mudvayne was playing on the Jack Daniels stage, but by the end of Offspring, I had worked my way up to the front, and it was only like a half hour, 45 minutes to wait for Misfits to get on, and I wasn't getting away from that. I managed to
Oh,
snag a
no.
few guitar picks over the weekend too.
You got
Nice.
tons of picks. What do you mean a few? You got like a dozen? Come on.
That's awesome. Awesome. Huh.
Yeah.
So you went all 4 days?
Oh yeah, all 4 days.
Cool, cool. So the first day it says here we had Cypress Hill, Anthrax, Testament, Exodus, Knocked Loose, Death Angel, Fit for a King, Oxymorons. So I
Yep.
guarantee Cypress Hill and Anthrax must have rocked the house.
Oh yeah. So Cypress Hill, I felt like was kind of like an odd man out, but I know quite a few of their songs, and I wasn't mad that they were there. They put on a great show,
Right.
and got the whole got the whole crowd high.
I bet. Smoke
That's
got
um,
'em.
awesome.
but yeah, I checked out both Anthrax and Cypress Hill. Checked out Knocked Loose, which I'd never heard of up until this show,
They're
and
really good.
they're really good. Their mosh pits were pretty good too. Um, they also had a band that I don't think was on the actual flyer called Destroy Boys. I didn't check them out, but I heard good things about them. And then, but yeah, I think I was Thursday. I was definitely most pumped to see Anthrax and Cypress Hill, and I snagged a pick from Anthrax actually.
Yeah, you did.
Basically threw a pick right into my armpit.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
That's an arm pick. Wow.
Right?
Yeah, I'd just be happy to have a pick from Anthrax, let alone in the armpit. It's like, I don't know, like it's personalized, man.
Yeah, right.
Don't ever
With
wash it.
the sweat of everybody around me, including myself.
That's right. Don't ever wash that pick. Keep it
Oh,
stinky.
yeah. That might be what eventually cures COVID. You never know.
Right, yeah. Yeah. So then the Friday was Metallica, Rancid, Volbeat, Cedar, Dropkick Murphys, Skillet, Suicidal Tendencies, Avatar, Pop Evil, Aaron Jones, Butcher Babies, Crowbot, Des Rocks, Cleopatrick, Ego Kill Talent, Black Map, Unity
Yep.
TX, Contract, Contra Cult Collective. Wow, that's a long list. It must have been a pretty good day.
Yeah. So actually, quite a few of those bands did not actually show up. Surprisingly,
Hmm.
what we ended up with that day was Contrafult Collective, Aaron Jones, Unity Texas, Crowbot, Black Map, Pop Evil, Avatar, Cleopatrick, Skillet, Butcher Baby,
Skillet!
Dropkick Murphys, Cedar, Suicidal Tendencies, Rancid, Volbeat, and then Metallica.
Those all sound really, really good, though.
I
Seriously.
I wasn't mad. I
Yeah.
was not mad. I had such a great time. Uh, Dropkick's last song that they played was "Shipping Off to Boston," and my buddies and I all got really excited about that and decided, well, this is where we definitely have to jump in the mosh pit, right? And we all caught elbows and fists to the face in that one.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be so fun. I love to see Dropkick play live, and especially because the crowd really gets into it and they encourage the crowd to kind of join in and sing along and just have fun. So I'm sure that freaking pit was so much fun. Not like brutal, just
Yeah.
fun.
We also caught Avatar, and Avatar they're a Swedish metal band, and they kicked so much ass. Um, when they were done with their set, they made sure to let everybody know that they stole the show. and,
Awesome.
Hell yeah.
and they really put on a great performance. I have no regrets checking them out at all.
Cool. All right. Well, you got
Well,
James'
Avatar is
approval.
definitely not new to like
Oh no.
taking over shows because that's pretty much how they broke through was opening up for bands and just kicking so much ass that everyone wanted to see them.
I
Right.
want to say the first time I ever heard of Avatar was on like Guitar Hero 2 or 3 or something like that. I think they had a track. But I mean, that's reaching back to my Guitar Hero days, so I might be mistaken.
Right.
I never played Guitar Hero, so I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I never played Guitar Hero either. I play the real thing, but
Right.
the buttons weren't doing it for me. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't push my own buttons. I get somebody else to do that. But anyway,
So
yeah,
wait, on the second day, who do you think stole the show?
yeah,
Oh man. Well, man, that's a tough question. I To answer that honestly, I don't think I could since I didn't see everybody. But in my opinion, I had probably the most fun with both Dropkick and Rancid, just because I know most of their songs, and I mean, I never thought I was going to get to see them. I was actually able to reconnect with an ex girlfriend from my past. She introduced me to a few of these bands, so it was really cool to send her some photos and reminisce and um, just experience these bands that I never thought I was going to get to see live. I didn't even know Rancid was still playing, so that blew my mind when they were on the set list. Um, Metallica was definitely a good, um, probably the best performance, but the crowd for Metallica is just always at a festival is always so intense. Like if you manage to get uh, halfway between the stage and the sound booth through no fault of your own, you're going to be up front just due to the crowd churn
Right.
within the first two or three songs. And that's what happened to me both nights that I saw Metallica. And there were times where I thought, wow, there there's enough people around me, I might get like crushed, you know.
Right.
Um, there was the second night Metallica played actually. Um, there was I was right stage, and I said to myself, I was like, okay, this was a little intense the first night. I already caught a Metallica pick the first night. I don't need to get up front, right? So I tried to hang back closer to the soundstage. I still managed to get pushed all the way up front, but there was this one section that had like three or four people in wheelchairs that were like halfway between the soundstage and the stage. And by the time I got pushed up that far, these people are like, there's people in wheelchairs here. I was like, yeah, I know. Let's get them up. Let's get them out. They're gonna get crushed because there's no stopping 50,000 Metallica fans. There's just not.
Right.
you
Yeah.
know?
No.
Metallica's badass. People are going to get to the front one way or another. But then they get to the front, and they start sweating, and they're bouncing around. They start losing their energy, and then so they gotta move back because they're like they get wiped out, and then other people move in. So it's a constant swirl. There's constantly people coming up front and coming back, up front and back. But if you're in a
Yep.
wheelchair, you can get caught up in that, man, and you could get knocked out of your chair or something. That would be terrible. So at least
Yeah.
there were people looking out though. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, yep, yep. And I always try to make sure I'm a good player in a festival crowd because nobody likes to catch a boot to the face with a crowd surfer or whatever, and nobody being a crowd surfer wants to fall and hit their head on the ground or whatever. So
Right.
I always try to make sure I look out for that and help people along their way and let people around me know if there's a shoe heading in their direction, you know.
I have
Right.
to vouch for James here. He is a protector at shows. When I first met him, didn't know him, and he was still being the coolest fucking dude I've ever met at a show that didn't hit on me. I loved it. Man, just have to say, you are awesome.
Appreciate that.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah. It's I'm always down for a good show, you know, and everybody should have a good time.
Absolutely, man. Well, that's good to hear. Serenity's been one of my friends for a long time, and if she vouches for you, then I know you're good people. Yeah, going to shows. I tell you what, I have been to Ozfest in Alpine Valley 5 times in my life, and every time was a different experience. Um, but one time I did go to the Pontiac Silverdome on the 4th of July for a Metallica Summer Sanitarium tour, I believe it was, and I got the second row. I got his
Oh
good
man,
tickets. I got his pit tickets, and we were up in the second row, 6 feet away from Kirk Hammett, just us screaming, feeling the heat wave coming off the flames from the stage and everything. It was awesome. Um,
yeah,
but 6 feet away from Kirk Hammett, that was a highlight of my summer, highlight of my concerts. I think probably that was probably the coolest moment ever. Um, but yeah, they are so much energy, and there's such a hustle bustle. To everybody wants to get up to the front, up to the front, up to the front. And there was one guy we boosted up on the crowd, and so he could crowd surf. He came back to us 3 more times. We boosted him back up. He had a great time. Now it would have been a wheelchair. It might have been a little more difficult, but uh, but we didn't see anybody in wheelchairs at that show. So what was just say what do we got? How many days was there? There was so Rancid, Volbeat. What did you think of Volbeat's performance?
oh, Volbeat kicked ass. They always kick ass.
Right? Yeah, they do. They do.
Caught only part of their set because I wanted to make sure I got back from them to see Metallica
Hmm.
at and Metallica played on the same stage Rancid did.
Right.
Um, Volbeat was on the stage next to them, so I only caught a few of their songs, and I had to make sure I had it got back close enough
Got
to
to
the
plan
stage to get
ahead.
that damn pick, you know.
Right. Right.
So
So
yeah.
see, next up on the Aftershock lineup, we have Cedar. Now, Cedar, his band's been around for a little while, and they're pretty familiar. Our listeners are probably pretty familiar with them. But I do know that they've been doing some newer stuff, and they just did a cover of, was it "Give Me One Reason"? Uh, was it Tracy Chapman cover they did recently?
I
What's
think it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
I want to say,
I thought it was a
did
good cover.
they?
But
I'm checking the set list now.
yeah, I'm just trying to think. Would they do that cover? I don't know if
Yeah,
they would do that at the show, but
they didn't. They played mainly their um,
most popular.
yeah, for the most part. So I actually I skipped Seether so I could catch Suicidal Tendencies because I'd
Oh,
never
okay.
seen them before and I'd seen Seether before,
Hmm.
but I did catch some highlights from Seether's show, and they played a lot of their popular ones like Gasoline and Fine Again
Right,
and Wasteland and Fake
remedy and
It and
things.
all those.
Sure, 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 sure.
But
They
I mean,
are fun to see either way. I mean, you
yeah,
can't go wrong with either.
Yeah, yeah.
no, never say. I'd never say anything bad about them. They sound just about as good live as they do on their records, man. So
You know,
nothing bad to say about it either.
I always figure if a band sounds good on record, and then if you go to the show and they sound just like their record, but you could tell it's not overdubbed or something, or they're not lip syncing, it's actually live. If they sound that freaking good, then they're doing something right, and you went to the right show. You know,
Right? Yeah.
but it's
Yep.
a disappointment if they don't sound as good.
Oh,
But not all of them could do that. It takes a lot of work and a lot of effort for them to reproduce and recreate that sound that they have on an album live. You know, because sometimes they have extra instruments that are in there that they're not going to tour with 10 people that were all involved with the mixing of that track. You know,
right. Yep.
so they can only have like two guitarists and a bass player, but they actually are supposed to have four guitars because they had other people that did other stuff, like little
Right.
nuances
Yep.
and things. Um, and so that it's interesting. Sometimes you can't get the same kind of sound out of a band. Just
Yeah.
like
I,
Led Zeppelin with Levee Breaks, they couldn't reproduce the drums of that song because they recorded it in that large expanse of this hallway and stairwell in a huge mansion where they recorded it, and it echoed so awesome in there that's very difficult to reproduce live. Um, so you
no,
have
that
that. You
makes
have
sense.
that sometimes. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
so then Skillet. Skillet is a newer band that came out a couple of years back.
No, 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 no. Skillet is not new.
Well, they're not
Skillet's been around
new.
forever.
They've
Yeah.
been around for a while. Um, but
They're a
they've just started
Christian. They
getting
started
noticed
Christian
the last few
metal. Well,
years.
they started Christian metal and were on like Acquire the Fire, which is like the Christian music festival. And then they worked their way up. They're actually my daughter's favorite band. Me and James saw them with my kid. It was my kid's first show at Elitch's. Do you remember that, James?
Yep. That was my kid's first show too. They
So
Oh,
actually had a lot of fun with that one.
awesome.
Berlin still listens to Skillet Awaken Alive almost every day. Like that's her band. They were just here in Colorado, and I wanted to take her, but due to COVID,
Hmm.
didn't.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah, I
right.
hear you. No, Primus is playing at Mission Ball next week. I wanted to catch them with one of my friends, but they're not vaccinated, so can't can't
Right.
make that trip happen, unfortunately.
Oh, I would love to see Primus.
Dang.
I
What?
saw them with
Primus
my
is
cousin Don at
awesome.
Red Rocks once. That was an amazing show.
Right
I
now,
don't know. Primus might be worth ditching out on my kids and leaving them with Eric because seriously, I love Primus.
yeah.
I want to go. We'll
Les
talk,
Kill
James.
Les Claypool kicks ass. Damn it, you're making me jealous. I need to come back and visit Denver. Uh,
Yeah,
Pop
there's a
Evil.
hell of a music scene out here for sure.
Right.
Hell yeah.
Now Pop Evil played on the same day as Metallica. What did you think of them?
Pop Evil. I think I was actually standing in the merch line during Pop Evil.
Right, yeah, because they came through up here in northern Michigan, and I didn't go because I worked so that my coworker could go. But they said they enjoyed that show. Um,
Yeah, so I missed part of Crowbot and Death Rocks, Black Map, and Pop Evil because I was standing in the merch line. And then I caught Avatar.
Okay, okay. And then Aaron Jones. I don't know if y'all are familiar with him, but uh, he's a metal rocker. He sounds good, and he's a black man, which you don't always see in heavy metal music, um, except for like maybe like hard rockers, like with the one guy from Living Color. I think there's couple of other people that are ethnic in rock and metal and things like that, but you don't
Yeah.
see that much. Normally, you see a black gentleman. He's usually into rap, you know. Uh, but I listened to him for the first time the other day, and I was really surprised. That guy's got some pipes on him, and he rocks
Yeah,
out.
actually, on the first night, in fact, there was another band, Oxymorons. I did catch them, and they've got black and Mexican uh, fellas running their band, and they sounded great.
Right,
I totally forgot that I caught them, but because
right.
of everything else going on, and that was literally the first band I saw of this 4-day festival. But yeah, they sounded phenomenal as well.
Right, right. How was the tension there at this show as far as racially, ethically, ethnically? Does it seem like since the was it the Floyd incident out there with all the uprising and the stuff that happened last year,
You know,
does
I
the
really didn't see anybody being racist. Everybody was there to have a good time. Um, the only negativity I really truly experienced as far as um, uh, people in the crowd, there were just some people that would just get overly drunk and uh, and then get violent or feel entitled to their spot at the festival, and usually uh, those people would just get ganged up on by like 10 other people around them, noticing that these people are the problem, and pick them up and throw them over the rail to security, and problem was ended.
right?
um,
Yeah, usually herds get together, the tribe will get together and be like, guess what, dude? Nobody's happy with you. You better knock it off, or you're gonna be
right.
tossed.
During Offspring, actually, and it surprised me during Offspring, there was a fist fight that broke out right behind me, and this dude got his cheek cut wide the fuck open.
Oh,
And
damn.
yeah, we had like 5 people holding each dude back, trying to separate them, and then people getting in between them to try to close that gap and prevent them from tearing each other up. But it was interesting to see. It's like, what
Right.
is even going on? Like, the Offspring's music doesn't really inspire that kind of violence.
Yeah. Yeah, well, higher energy music, there's sometimes people get carried away and things happen. But it's good to
Yeah.
hear that ethically, between ethnic people and between the races and things that you didn't see anything bad happening or taking place really though. People seemed like they were getting along good and like life's getting back to normal maybe.
Oh yeah, I felt that way. Honestly, I think that the media hyperboles or hyperboles all of that stuff, and makes people uh, divisive for their own gain, right?
Right.
At the end of the day, we're all the commoners, and they just want to divide to stay in power, and it's working because people don't know how to shut their damn TV off.
Right. Unfortunately. But that's good. That's good that you witnessed that and that people are getting back to normal. How was the
I
vendors?
do have to say,
Oh, okay, can you hear me?
What's that?
yeah, we could hear you.
Okay.
The
Um,
vendors? What do you mean by the
yeah,
vendors?
yeah. How were the vendors? I mean, did they have good T-shirts? Did they have good food? You know, was there enough beer? Did they run out? Did they
Good
have enough?
alcohol?
Did they have enough porta
Honestly,
potties?
I was really impressed. I was really impressed. They had probably 200 porta potties across the whole event. I never had to wait in line to take a piss. Um, and as far as the food vendors go, I mean, the festival food is always pretty overpriced, like paying $10 ish for a slice of pizza or whatever. But they had a lot of great vendors there too. There was this one. There was gator meat there. It was great. There was pizza that had gator meat on it. There was this one like Cajun stand that had what they called a garbage plate, and you bet your ass I spent $20 on that, but it was delicious. It was like Spanish rice mixed with shrimp and gator sausage and chicken and macaroni and cheese and some nacho cheese over top of all of it. It was glorious.
You're making me hungry.
Right. And mostly, I mean, they had any kind of beer you could want or whatever. They also had a whiskey stand. I quit drinking, so I didn't really entertain that so much myself, but it was available if you were into it. And then they also supplied plenty of water and Red Bull, although on the fourth night, that water ran out towards the end of the night, which didn't really matter for me because I spent most of my time in front of the stage waiting for Metallica.
Sure.
So what do you mean by they had water, like a drinking fountain or bottles? You know, like
So it's at Discovery Park, and Discovery Park does have its own water that you can get there. It's kind of like thick tasting city water, you know. But
California. Come on.
you had like bottled Dasani water at all the vendors, and you had they offered either regular Red Bull or watermelon flavored Red Bull. Usually, I think at Aftershock they try to do Monster, but this time they signed with Red Bull for whatever reason.
Okay.
Doesn't Monster do their own tours now? That's
Maybe
probably
that's
why.
why. Maybe that's why. Yeah.
Pretty sure, but I don't know. Whatever.
Okay.
That sounds really cool, though. So Gator, I've had it before. I thought it was like a fishy chicken.
Yeah, fishy, gamey chicken. That's a good way to. That's a good way to put it.
Just
Well,
making sure they didn't give you some like street rats or something. You know, it's California. They have dog there. Yeah.
yeah, have some poodle. Fresh poodle, all you can eat.
Yeah,
That's why it was so
not to my
hairy.
knowledge. I don't think I ate dog, but I mean, you never know. And if I did, Ozzy would probably be all right with it, you know.
He'd pat you on the head, say, "Good job, boy."
Right. Well, you're looking
And
at.
as for the shirts, they had two merch booths. One main one. Well, they had three merch. No, I'm wrong. They had four. They had this one. Maybe they had even more than that. They had four that I frequented. They had one called the Tarot, and they had different like tarot card type images on their shirts, and that was pretty cool. Um, they had another merch booth for only Metallica merch, and Aftershock merch, and then the main big tent was probably 100 feet long and had pretty much all the band's merch in it. And they had another smaller one over by that overpass I was talking about earlier that had a bunch of Metallica shirts and Aftershock shirts in it as well.
So what was the prices on them? Because when I was at Metallica, it was a stadium show. Well, this the last time, and I think I paid like $120 to get up
Yeah,
there.
they had some merch that was that expensive, but they also had some more affordable stuff. I'd say that the prices for shirts ranged anywhere from like $25 all the way up to 120 bucks. Um, Misfits had a signed lithograph for $100.
Oh, you got it right.
I didn't. I have regrets about that, but
Oh,
I didn't.
Why didn't you message me? I would have sent you the money to get two of them.
I didn't want to get it destroyed. I knew I was going to be in mosh pits.
That's true.
so the merch was a hit. They had good merchandise, good vendors, good T-shirts.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I snagged a Rancid shirt, a Mudvayne shirt, and an Aftershock Four Horsemen shirt.
Oh, I want to see that one.
and what was the other one I got? Jeez,
So
Don't
they
think Murphy's has some pretty cool shirts. I
might
would
have
have
been
gotten a drop
Misfits. I
kick.
think I got a Misfits one actually,
cool.
but I can't remember. They're in the washer.
Oh, right, right. So they did have festival shirts with the print of their logo and everything on it, and all the bands.
Oh yeah, they had
Of
multiple
course.
different types of Aftershock shirts. There were all different kinds of flavors that you could have gotten. In
Sweet.
fact, you probably still can it from their app.
Right,
You know, on their site, their site's still up. They still have some merch, but a lot of it's sold out. You know,
Yeah.
right,
so
right. Well, for our
Yeah.
listeners and viewers, check out that. Maybe you can get some merch. Maybe you can get it, right away. Hopefully, before it's sold
Looks
out.
like they've still got 7 shirts up, 2 hats up, and a koozie up on their website.
damn.
Well, there you go. If you're interested in some merch, go nail it. What else have we got here?
We
Butcher
got day
Babies.
3.
Yeah, day
Oh,
three. What
Butcher
else?
Babies.
Butcher Babies, Crowbot, Des Rocks, and then a couple of other smaller bands here: Cleopatra, Eagle
Did you
Kill
see any of
Talent.
those bands, James?
I caught a little bit of Crowbot, and then like I said, I got in that merch line, and let's see, let me
On
look
for
at
2
that
more hours.
Right.
schedule again. Yeah, it really was too. It was like, yeah, I probably only caught like probably about half a Crowbot set, and then went and gotten that merch. Well, I went for water really, and then I was like, I should get merch before Avatar comes on, because I just saw the lines in there. So my original plan Thursday, my buddies and I showed up, and Thursday was a much lighter day. It started later. It didn't start till like 4:30, and there was like we got a good lay of the land. There weren't nearly as many people there on Thursday, and with the way that all the vendors were set up and everything, and the porta potties and the food and everything, I didn't really think that it was going to be um, that big of a deal or too difficult to get anything. And then as I was grabbing that water on Friday, I was like, oh, there's a lot more people here than I was anticipating. And that merch line is just growing. I want to get in it now before it gets any more ridiculous. So
Sure.
that's what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Because you
Always
could
like
be
to go
stuck.
in early.
Yeah, you can get
Yep.
stuck waiting in line for a long time. Especially if you got like some good corn on the cob or something, or oh
Yeah.
man, some steak sandwiches, or they got so much good
Oh, yeah.
food. It shows.
They had that stuff too. And
Yeah, you can
oh,
miss a whole
there was
set.
so much good food.
Okay, so I want to move on to Saturday. Okay, so there's a ton of really good names on here, but I have to ask you about my boys, Alien Weaponry. And I say boys because they are kids. Seriously, I think they might be 18 now, right?
Wow.
Did you get to check them out?
I did check out a couple of their songs, but I didn't stick around for their full set. They did sound all right. Um, I didn't know any of their songs, so I can't really
Oh,
I can't
I'll send
really
you a few. They,
yeah, hook
I
me up.
love them. They're kind of like, because they don't have all their songs in English.
Okay.
They have some tribal. I forget what it is right now, but like the words that they use and the way that they put them is just so much energy. I'll totally hook you up because I love those kids, man. Like I've seen them quite a few times. I've met them quite a few times. They're really, really cool kids, and they've been playing since they were like 6 or 7. And when
Oh
I
wow.
first met them, they were like 14. I think
So
they
they're
might
like
be
little
18 now.
prodigies then, huh? That's great.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's
So
totally
who
cool.
did you like on Saturday? Like who did you see, and what was your favorite?
So Saturday, I my buddies and I we were pre-gaming in the parking lot for quite a while. We showed up right at the end ish for Alien Weaponry, and then I walked by Atreyu. I'd already seen them a couple times at other shows, and I don't even remember where I was heading at that time. Um, but we had plans, my buddies and I. We weren't too thrilled about Machine Gun Kelly playing at the show, and we had initially planned to have one of my buddy's wives uh, body paint us with, because there were 5 of us, with FUMGK, and we were going to get up front, but his wife wouldn't get on board for that, so we didn't get to go through with that plan, unfortunately.
Wouldn't your beard have covered it up either way?
Oh no! If I pull my shirt up, the beard would have been pulled up too. It would have been perfect.
Oh,
we tested
okay.
this out. We had plans.
Oh my god.
Terrible.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, good times. So Misfits, you got to see Misfits.
Yep. Nope.
With Glenn Danzig.
Yeah, and that was amazing. I caught an AC Slade pick from AC Slade. AC Slade was playing with the Misfits. He was a guitarist for Dope for a little while.
Okay. Offspring? What's your take on Offspring?
Yeah. Oh, they played an excellent set, man. I didn't expect them to sound as good as they did, but they killed it, I thought. And they had, like I said, probably either between the Offspring or Steel Panther for best concert titties of the weekend.
Awesome.
Steel Panther was there. Oh my god.
Yeah, they were there on Sunday. It was
oh my god. That is hilarious.
All the boobies are coming out.
Yeah.
All the hair metal 60, 50-year-old women or something like. Oh my god, the image in my head is something that nightmares are made of. I'll just say that.
They played at high elevation as well. I mean,
I know, but
you saw it. You know what I'm talking
crazy.
about.
I know. It's just the image in my head.
All I can, yeah, my image is there's these 2 breasts and they're on the sides of a belly button. I just
no, the ones I saw anyway were nice and perky.
Oh, okay. Well, you were looking up high. I got
The gray hair didn't cover them at all.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Hey, whatever floats your boat, man.
No, I love Steel Panther. Didn't they originally come from Colorado? I think they're a Denver-based band.
Could be.
They play here an awful lot. I'm not 100% sure if they're Denver-based, but you could be right there.
Right.
I think they are. I've been out of the scene for too long,
Right. So Offspring did a good show, and what was their tone these days? Are they into like they were originally? They were more of a rock and kind of a punker band in the origins back in the day when they first came out. But then after the Pretty Fly for a White Guy thing, they kind of went I don't know. I felt like they kind of sold out to radio sound, they wanted to be played on the radio, so they changed a lot about their band, the way they do things. How do you feel about
that? They also switched producers. Every producer you work with kind of mixes in the way that they,
Yeah, they direct.
Right.
So I think
honestly, I felt like the Offspring played a lot of their hit songs, a lot of their popular songs. They played a lot of their heavier songs first, I think, and then they finished up. Well, they broke it up, I feel like, with Gone Away, and they played the piano version of that. And that was really a good and necessary break, because I'm pretty sure that fight I was telling you about earlier, it broke out in the first half of the show. So having Gone Away played really broke up that vibe and got everybody to kind of settle a bit. Right. And then they went in after that right into Why Don't You Get a Job? And shortly thereafter they played Pretty Fly for a White Guy, Kids Aren't All Right, Self-Esteem, and all that. And You're Gonna Go for Our Kid. Probably have that kind of order a bit, but yeah, I know all those songs were definitely played. So it was a good time. I mean, I loved their set. I was glad I got to see them, because Offspring is a band that I had a chance to see at a Warped Tour ages ago, and I missed them for, I want to say, AFI, and I'm kind of disappointed about that, because at the time the crowd was excellent for AFI, but AFI looked like they just wanted to get off the stage. They weren't into it. It felt like. but that was ages ago. I don't even know if that band's still together. I haven't heard any new music from them anyway.
I
No,
don't pay attention.
they haven't anything new recently. But if they do, we'll let you know.
And
Let's-
then Mudvayne played that
yeah,
day.
yeah, Mudvayne.
Yeah, Mudvayne played, and that's a band I
Oh, yeah.
unfortunately missed, but it was for a good cause. I got front for Misfits by missing Mudvayne. I did get to hear Mudvayne and see their performance because they had these giant screens on either side of both the Koalas and Jack Daniels stage. So anytime like there wasn't a band playing on that stage, they had those screens going with the other stage's band, and they also had the sound playing, not quite so loud because they didn't want the sound to screw up the mixing
Feedback.
for any recording that was happening. But you could still hear it. You could still hear it from afar and see the actual performance and on the screens jumping between band member to band member. And that was pretty cool.
That's really cool of them to do that, so you could kind of enjoy the show no matter where you were there, because 50,000 people, not everyone's going to get up front. Not everyone's going to want to be up front. I mean,
especially when it gets as intense as it did for Metallica. Yeah, fully agree with you there.
Right.
that's cool, though. I know at Red Rocks, I wish they'd up their video because it's kind of pixely if you're not up close to it, and the color's kind of weird. But if they have the right look on those videos, you could enjoy the show just watching that, and you don't have to be up front.
Right. Yep.
Sure. All right.
And
So
the whole experience is still there.
what else
Oh,
do we
yeah.
have here? We got Gojira and Body
Yep,
Count.
Body
I
count.
caught a little bit of Gojira, but I did not see Body Count. I missed them.
Oh,
Oh
man.
my God.
Yeah.
Down with
Yeah,
the
my
body
friends
count.
were cursing me for that one as well.
Yeah.
Count.
The body count and the cop killer song, if they're even allowed to do it, I don't even know.
Probably
Um,
not. But you know what? My
Hey,
14-year-old niece.
that was actually the song they ended with was Cop Killer.
Ah, so you didn't miss all of them. Ah, good,
Ah.
good.
That's awesome. Hell yeah.
At least you heard the important song.
Right.
The one they're famous for.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Atreyu. Did you see Atreyu?
Atreyu, yeah. I'd seen Atreyu before, so I skipped them this time, but they played quite a few of their good songs. They played Becoming the Bull and Save Us and Warrior and Blow
I'm going down.
and X's
things.
and O's.
Right. Right.
So-
Cool. Bad Flower. They only been out for a couple years now. What do you think of them?
I didn't see them. I missed them, unfortunately.
Right.
They're pretty good.
They played earlier in the day, and we were still in the parking lot hanging out.
Oh, I understand. That's the best
Doing
place to
that
play.
pregame.
That's a pregame. That's
Yeah.
the best place to play hacky sack is in a concert parking lot. I swear by it.
Yep. I fully agree with that. And I cursed myself for leaving my hacky sack in Denver. But
Oh.
we made up for it. We made up for it. They at the whiskey bar, they were giving out little like 10-ounce Metallica cups that were black plastic cups, and we used that. we called the game flip up, but it was hacky sack with a cup.
Nice. Well, at
That's
least you got
awesome.
you got some action at least. Anti-Flag. Anti-Flag. What'd you think of them guys?
Anti-Flag. I again only caught a portion of these guys, but they were the Anti-Flag always sounds good live. They're fun. Their mosh pits are
Okay,
usually off
okay.
the chain too.
Right. August Burns Red. I'm not really that familiar with that band.
Ooh,
Serenity might know more about them than I do. But
I like them.
I've only heard
Yeah.
like one of their songs, but they had a good rhythm. They were catchy. So yeah.
Yeah. That's another earlier band that I just didn't catch that day.
And then what DD Bones UK, Serenity's friends, their Alien Weaponry. If you're not familiar with them, I've seen their name written somewhere, maybe in the side notes on like Livewire somewhere or something, or Rolling Stone magazine. I'm not sure, but somewhere I saw their name written on an article somewhere. But now I'm gonna
Right.
have to
Are
hear
you
them.
sure it wasn't on my Facebook? I posted a bunch of pictures with them and a bunch of pictures of their show.
Oh
You might
well,
have seen it there.
That very well
yeah.
could be.
There you go. I bet
Actually,
you.
I've learned about a bit of music just from checking out your Facebook, Serenity.
Right, right,
I
right,
have a
right.
little bit on there.
Yeah, yeah. So if you haven't checked them out yet, do like I do and go on YouTube and look them up and see what they're about. You know,
Yeah,
um,
I'm definitely going to, especially since Serenity recommended them. She hasn't steered me wrong yet.
yeah, yeah. And they're young guys, so they're probably full of energy. So be ready. I'm excited. I can't wait to hear it. The Black Moods, Blame My Youth, and South of Eden. Did you hear any of them guys?
Nope, those guys were all earlier as well, and didn't
Okay.
catch them unfortunately.
All right. So then the other ones that were on Saturday was a band called Another Day Dawns and American Teeth. All right. And
But yeah, those were also within like the first hour, so
right,
missed those ones as well. But
right,
I'm sure they're great.
right. Well, just so that they get credit and everybody knows that they were there at least. um, Although we can't really see too much about them because we didn't experience them. But anyhow, yeah, that's part of the list rundown for that day. Sunday then, let's see, Widow Seven, The Cold Stairs, All Good Things, Law, The Blue Stones, From Ashes to New, Mammoth, Wolfgang von Halen. What did you think of that?
So my buddy caught Mammoth. I did not. I so on Sunday I decided that I was going to trust a random parking lot hippie with dreads to sell me a mushroom, and I ate it.
Dun dun
Figured I was going
dun.
to go down the rabbit hole.
Oh boy.
So I started a pretty rapid trip after eating it. I started tripping pretty much as I was going through the security line, and
Things started to
I
get weird.
I didn't catch mammoth. I needed water like right away because I and food because I knew that this was going to be a pretty violent trip after I had already started it. And then after I got my water, um, I went and checked out Steel Panther, and I was mostly coherent through that, but laughing my ass off the entire time due to well, their whole shtick is between every song they have like skits and jokes and stuff. And, um, they're hilarious, and being on mushrooms just made it even more hilarious. Um,
Awesome. Awesome. Well, it sounds like that was a helpful, fun experience. um,
yeah, well, it got pretty intense after Steel Panther. I needed more food and to sit down for a while, so I missed, unfortunately, Black Veil Brides, All Good Things, and in this moment, and Grandson and
So
Pennywise.
you missed From
'Cause,
Ashes to New? Oh my God, they're
yeah,
gonna be so mad.
hmm,
yeah. Ashes to New. Yeah, they played on Saturday, I think.
Okay, did
No,
you get
wait,
to see
no.
them?
Ashes to New dropped off last minute. They didn't play.
oh, well, that's too bad. But you did see
Yeah,
grandson. You did see grandson.
Grandson. No, I was tripped out. Like
Oh,
I was in a time loop at that point. I
right.
had sat down over by the overpass. There was like this Pucifer wine stand for Maynard's wine, and I was sitting under a tree, breaking twigs, contemplating life and my decisions, and wondering if I was going to be studied by science at that point.
Nice,
I
You
man.
took
didn't
in
think I
the
was
full
coming out of the trip,
experience.
We
and then I I remember looking at my buddy and saying, "Hey, man, I need to make better life choices."
you didn't you say you need an adult to make better life choices?
Oh no, that was my other buddy. When I felt the trip coming on and I realized that it was going to be pretty hard at first, I looked at my buddy while I was in line getting water, and I looked at him and I was like, "Hey man, I need an adult. You want to be my adult?"
Oh boy.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It went downhill for me pretty badly there for a minute, and I had some serious regrets. But and I was really upset about that because I thought it was going to be a pretty mild trip, and I was going to be able to like catch Pennywise. By the time Pennywise was on, I figured I'd be right around the peak, and I'd get to enjoy that show and everything. But it was just way too intense all the way up until that point, and I missed Pennywise. I got my friends, I got to a point where I was coherent enough, and we caught Mastodon. Got all the way up front for Mastodon, and that they had this tapestry that was hanging and looked just amazing with my current state of mind, and I was having a good time, surrounded by women, and my buddies behind me, and I was just laughing. And at one point, I want to say it was the bassist for Mastodon, said "fuck you" to everybody, and so I screamed at what felt like the most silent part of an active festival I've ever experienced in my life. It's like I found that silent moment, and I screamed with horns blazing, both hands, "Fuck you! We fucking love you, Mastodon!"
Nice, brother.
Oh my
and then
god.
I looked around at everybody else just fucking loving life at this point, because I'm realizing that the bad trip is over and I'm definitely having a good trip now.
And
Now
everybody's
I
looking
looked
at
at
you.
everybody around me. I'm like, I love you all.
Nice.
Peace, love, and
Nice,
rock and
man.
roll.
That's
Oh
awesome.
my god.
And they had an amazing set. They had amazing mosh pit too. It was so much fun. Mastodon at that point probably was the band that kicked up the most dirt. I tasted that stuff. um,
Well, the crowd
and
was kicking.
yeah, crowd was kicking. It was great, man.
He was
Awesome.
going to propose to everyone. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
just about. I turned around to my buddy Ben and I told him that I loved him, and thanked him for the experience and the show and everything, because he was the fellow that put me up for the weekend,
It was
and
your Ben was your adult.
and then I excitedly proclaimed to him, "I am the whole fucking vibe."
Well, there you have it, people. All you gotta do is go find a festival and your friendly neighborhood hippie and an adult and Mastodon, and it's a recipe for a good time.
Woo!
It
Oh yeah.
certainly was. It certainly was.
Awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
that
So
is
that
awesome.
what else happened on this show then? There was Rise Against. What do you think of them guys?
Yeah. Oh, Rise Against. They always play a great show, man. I seen them before. In fact, this time I skipped them because I'd never seen Social Distortion,
Hmm.
and I wanted to make sure that I gave Social Distortion my full and undivided attention. I almost missed it after, because they played pretty close to, yeah, as Mastodon's set was ending, Social Distortion was coming on, and I did not want to miss Social Distortion. I wanted to
Right.
get up front for him too. By this point, my trip is mostly gone and ending. I still had a little bit of the happy, but no more of the like real trippy feeling. And got some water, got some Red Bull, headed over to Social Distortion. My buddy and I got up front. A couple of my other buddies went to look for one of our other friends that went missing, and we got almost all the way up front to Social Distortion, and there's this lady that was being a jerk and throwing fists at people, and my buddy and I helped them throw her over the rail to security, and I guess these people had been standing near the front since noon and felt very entitled to their spot, because this was the same stage that Metallica was about to play on. And so never in my festival or concerting career has this ever happened to me. But after I helped them lift this lady over, they all started pointing at me like I was an asshole. And
What?
my buddy, and they actually picked us up and threw us over to security. I was like, dude, what'd I do wrong? And he's like, dude, you didn't do anything wrong. They're just being assholes. And he's like, go over to the right stage and you'll be fine. The people over there are being much more cool.
Huh.
Wow.
Well,
My mind was
Wait.
blown. I got ejected from front of Social Distortion, like right when they were playing Story of My Life. So it was kind of like really fucked up.
Sounds like the story of my life. Damn.
But I mean, Social Distortion still killed it, and I was happy I was able to see them, even though that happened. And
Right.
Fucking
I mean,
Metallica fans.
that's exactly how I felt about it. It's like some Metallica fans are just assholes. But whatever. I was able. I didn't want to be up front for Metallica on this night, so I hung back by the sound and ended up getting churned up there anyway.
Did In This Moment play?
In This Moment did play, and I missed them. I was tripping very hard at that time.
Well, we already saw them at High Elevation, and we were in the front for that.
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
I mean, you've been there, done that. I totally get it.
Yep. And they rocked it at High Elevation. I have no doubt that they rocked it here at Aftershock as well, but I wasn't present. I don't even think I was on this planet. There was a period of time I went back in time, it felt like, and watched Tool and Crucifer play at the 2019 Aftershock. That was a weird experience. I mean, it literally didn't happen. I was just tripped out and thought it happened.
Oh, great. Serenity, we got to get together and party with this guy. I like him. He's all right.
Hell yeah.
Now, if we just find that hippie, we'll be set.
Right. Yeah. I've never seen that kind of mushroom before. I at one point I was like, I should know better than to accept random mushrooms from random hippies.
See, I do like, if I do it, I do a tiny bit, and I do golden teachers. So they're like so mellow, so chill.
I cut this thing. It was a pretty big shroom. It weighed like over an eighth by itself. And so I took a razor blade and cut it in half and gave it half of it to one of my friends, and he thought that was too much for him, so he split it in half and gave half of that to one of his friends. But I took half of that sucker myself, and yeah, I think I got a little greedy.
Right? Oh my God.
Should have gave some to your adult.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Well,
That's awesome.
Sounds like a good time. So you got the Cecil Distortion, you got ejected over the security feds. So then you went around to the other side or whatever, and then Metallica came on. How was their show?
Oh man, so I gotta tell you, man, they, in my eyes, they really redeemed themselves for me. Like, so the first night that Metallica played, they played so many fucking good songs, man. They played Whiplash. They started with Whiplash. They played Ride the Lightning, Harvester of Sorrow, Cyanide, Memory Remains, One, Frantic, Moth in the Flame, No Leaf Clover, For Whom the Bell Tolls,
awesome.
Whiskey in the Jar, Fade to Black, Master of Puppets, Battery, Fuel, and Seek and Destroy. And then the second night that they played, they did Hardwired, Four Horsemen, Welcome Home, Sanitarium, and then they played the entire Black Album in reverse order.
I was gonna ask, did they actually do it?
Yeah, they actually did it, and then they fake ended with Enter Sandman, and then encored with Fight Fire with Fire and Creeping Death, and it was just phenomenal. I had such a good time for Metallica sets because, I mean, like I said, the last time I saw them, it was Saint Anger, and I think the only non-Saint Anger song they played back then was One, and I just wasn't that into it. But this both of their sets this time they were just amazing. And I heard that they actually practiced both nights for 3 hours before they took the stage, and they took the stage for 2 hours each night. So they played
Right.
back to back for 5 hours, 2 different nights to give us that performance, and they fucking rocked it.
Right.
The only complaint I have is just feeling like I might get asphyxiated by everybody around me. But I mean, that's kind of a risk you got to take at a festival, especially when there's an epic festival like this.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, that's a huge event you went to. And Metallica, incidentally, is one of those bands where a friend of mine was talking to me recently about Metallica, and I think we were watching an interview or something, and we got on the subject of how they practice, and at some point, Hetfield had an interview saying where they have to practice. They have to sit down and actually focus on practicing. And be like, man, I haven't played that song in months, you know. And if they don't practice it, they'll screw it up on stage, and they know that, and they're not going to let their fans down. That's determination, and that's love, man. That's right here. Gotta
Yep.
love Metallica for it.
Yeah, no, they definitely kicked ass both nights. I've got no complaints about their sets at all. I'm ecstatic I got to see all those songs be played. Um, and they're fucking heavy metal legends, man. It's great to see them.
Right,
I'm
right.
glad they're still going.
Now, I'm not really aware too much about how this all played out to have this festival go on like this. Was this planned months in advance? How long were the tickets out for? Was this like something that just
So
material?
originally this was supposed to be 2020, and they had a lot of different bands that were actually supposed to be there, but um, because it got moved to 2021 due to COVID,
Reschedule,
they
right?
they a lot of them had to drop off, and they had to fill them with other bands. Thursday night, for example, ended up with Anthrax and Cypress Hill headlining, um, but at one point, um, before Cypress Hill got put on the ticket, there was going to be Limp Bizkit was going to open or
Mm-hmm.
was going to headline,
Hmm.
and then they dropped off and got replaced with Faith No More, and then they dropped off, and um, there was also some concern that Mudvayne was going to drop off because one of their crew, I think, caught COVID or whatever, and they canceled a lot of their other festival shows, but they ain't canceled this one.
Well,
Thank
good,
God.
good. At least you got to see
Right?
them. That's
You know,
awesome,
they're
man.
going to do one in 2022 too. So maybe we're going to have to get together and go to that one.
Oh, absolutely. I'm pretty sure I'm going to make this a thing, as long as my friend and his wife feel like tolerating me for another 4 days next year.
Right, right.
Or,
Well,
you know, I might be out there, so you could always stay with me.
Hey, yeah, I'm down.
well, yeah.
I
And
We
there's
mean,
can,
I think I will definitely be going next year. Like, it'll be a little bit more,
yeah. You can buy their
less a
tickets for
baby,
next year now, and I
you
think
know.
because they don't have any bands announced yet, you get $10 off the ticket or whatever for buying it early. But how the ticket worked is they actually have a layaway ticket option, so you can have it. So they extract like $50 or $20 a month out of your account to pay for the ticket, and then once your ticket is set or your account is settled or whatever, they mail you your wristband and everything.
Yeah.
huh.
And the
Well,
wristbands
see.
were really cool too because had like little NFT chips in them or something, RFID chips, something in them where you could uh, sync your credit card onto it and put a PIN number on it. So you just have to scan that at the register to buy your uh, food
Yeah.
and drinks and merch and stuff. Not all the vendors accepted it, but the ones that did, it was super convenient. Got people out of line a lot quicker, you know, not fiddling
Yeah.
cash or cards.
They have those tickets or those bands at like Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm, Elitch's here uses them too.
Yep.
Right, right.
So yeah, I think it's so much easier because I don't want to carry a purse at a festival. That's like the last thing that I want is somebody to steal that kind of shit from me. So I think it's a smart and safer way of doing it.
Yeah, Yeah, usually if I go to a show, I just carry what's like needed, like my ID and cash in my pocket and my phone. You know,
Yep.
it's a lot safer.
Yeah, my one buddy,
Oh, yeah,
man, my one
tell him about the
buddy,
phone.
he lost his shoes, his hat, a hat he was holding on to for another buddy, his phone, um, his bag of merch that also had other friends' merch in it.
Oh man.
It was
Wow.
a whole ordeal.
But he got the phone back or all of it back?
He got the phone back. He didn't get any of the merch back.
Of course not. Mm.
And he didn't get his shoes back either. And
No. What?
he came back the next day
Oh,
with boots tied to his feet, so that didn't
Wow.
happen.
Well, you have to
man.
find that hippie. He's probably got his shoes. Huh, could be. Oh, wow. Well, let's see. They have it up online. You can probably check out the whole rundown here. It's www.aftershockfestival.com. There's more information there. Probably links to purchasing tickets for next year, I would imagine, would be would stem from there if you guys want to check it out. And
Yep.
yeah, it sounds like you had an awesome time. And for
10
you to
out
see,
of 10
yeah,
or 12 out of 10?
yeah,
Oh man,
10.
definitely cranked it up past 11 this show. I would say for sure.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah, and to see Metallica because they haven't been touring, and they just did that surprise show back in September recently, in LA where they just announced it online, like, hey, guess what? Get your asses down there if you got your COVID stamp on your butt or whatever, you know, um, and you can get into this show, and we're doing it's $20 a ticket, so first come first serve, have your
Damn.
COVID documentation, and it was like everybody clamored to get there, and they have some of it streaming on YouTube if anybody's interested in checking it out. Um,
Yeah, I'll check that out for sure.
yeah, yeah, it's totally cool that you got to see all these bands, and that it seems like civilization is starting to come back to the reality that we all still love concerts, and if it means I got to get a shot to go, well, I guess that's what we might have to do, But
So let's talk about that for a second. So it's been, 2020 no shows. Well, I went to one or two shows in the beginning of 2020. And
Yeah, I
then
went
now
to
that it's back
one.
open, yeah, I mean, there was what, 3 months of shows before,
Right.
you know? So I know I saw Queensryche. That was the last show I saw before pandemic. And I really haven't seen a big show since it reopened. So was it like the same? Did you get that feeling that you had pre-pandemic?
Oh, absolutely. Once you're in the show, like they of course recommended you wore masks, and like the dust factor, people would usually wear masks anyway at dusty shows, um, like or at least a bandana, to not choke on all the dust and get mud in your throat or whatever. But they of course recommended due to the pandemic that you wear a mask, but they didn't enforce any of that. There would be no way in hell they'd be able to force that many people to wear a mask. The vendors wore masks, um, and you had to go through a health screening line to show your proof of vaccination or proof of negative test. And then once you did that, you got a health wristband that had it was like shiny and red and had lightning bolts on it, and that signified that you had already gone through the health screening. And as long as you wore that, the next following days you didn't have to go back through the health screening line.
Did they like
However,
take your
first
temperature
day
or
I
something?
decided to get no,
Okay.
no. They just check out to see if you have the proper documentation to prove that you were either not sick or vaccinated. Um, and as long as you could show that, then they gave you the wristband and you go wait in line to actually get in through the gate. Um, but they um, would, if you like the first day, I got into a few mosh pits, and I lost my health screening wristband, so I had to go back through the health screening line again the second day. But my friends were pre gaming in the parking lot, so I had to go through the line again. I went up to the health screening line. I got my health screening wristband, and they were trying to usher me through. And I said, "This is going to look a little weird, but I'm going to go back this way." And I went back to the parking lot and hung out with my friends for a little bit before we entered the show.
Hell yeah.
Awesome, awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. Well, well, that's great. I mean, it felt just like normal, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, it really did. And I made a bunch of, I guess you'd call them single serving friends, where I just happened to be standing next to them, and they chatted me up, and was able to um, share a couple joints with people, and just have a good festival time, man.
Awesome, awesome. And
That's what I want to hear.
nobody tried to stick a thermometer in your butt or anything crazy.
No, no.
Just shrooms,
That'd be a swift way to catch an elbow from me.
right? Yeah, yeah. Just shrooms.
Mosh pit or no. Yeah, right.
Awesome, man. Well, it sounds like you had a great time. I hope that they do more festivals like this in the near future. I mean, winter's coming on us now, so there won't be that much left this year. But I know Tool is going to start touring, I think, in January, and I'm pumped to see them. I want to see them bad.
Yeah. My buddies already have tickets to see them. I'm in the Tool Army, and I was stuck working on some escalations for work, and I didn't get in soon enough to get the damn tickets. But I'm on the lookout for them, and I will likely be at that show for sure.
Awesome.
I
Hell
caught
yeah.
the last show here in Denver, at the Pepsi Center, and they played two different sets, two different nights, and the sets were honestly mostly identical. I think they played like two or three different songs, um, but the first night, I had tickets, and I was like right. I think I was fourth row and center, and it was an amazing show. And then I had so much fun. I got on Reddit, and I was looking for tickets for the second night, and I found a ticket, and it was further back, left stage by the sound booth. But seeing it up close and then seeing the show from all the way back there, I got two different experiences, and it was pretty cool because they had like these beads or chains or whatever draped down in front of their set, and they were projecting various trippy images onto the chains while they were playing. And being up front, you don't really get a good feel or visual for what's going on up there, but you got the band right in front of your face, right? Um,
Right.
when you're back there, though, you get to enjoy that crazy show that they got going on the draped beads or whatever, and it's pretty cool.
Awesome, man.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So, well, it's great to hear that the shows are coming back, festivals are coming back. Everybody seemed like nervous, or were people seeming like they were digging things and things were feeling all right again, like civilization's moving
I
forward?
think I think nobody is taking it serious that was at that show. Like, I heard many people joking about building the next coronavirus super strain, and
Oh,
um, joking about how the coronavirus wasn't shit, or whatever. There was a lot of sentiment that people are not scared, and I think that's healthy, because I feel like the media tries to make people super scared for division purposes.
sure,
Right?
sure. Yeah, there's
Yeah, you might want to
underlying
come on
agendas.
tomorrow's show.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. There's underlying agendas there that we're not going to really get into right now, but there are things that there's all kinds of conspiracies about this stuff.
Yeah,
It's just good to hear that things are starting to get back to normal in the festival thought process and the way that we react and we do things as communities, especially music communities, because music is huge. It helps fight depression. It makes people open their mind, their creative mind. It helps people cope with their feelings. Um, and sometimes a certain song can be the difference between life and death for people. And So yeah,
Yeah,
for this things to get back to normal like this with music venues and music scenes is really important for our society and our world. And so it's good
I
to hear
tell
that.
you, I really I needed this. It was like I was baptized by a concert. I'd been going through a few negative times recently, so being there for the show, it was very, very cathartic, and it was concert therapy, the best kind of therapy.
Best
Right.
kind.
I agree.
Much needs good.
Yes. Gotta have music.
Yep.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for telling us all about your experience and stuff. And the next time you go to a show, get a hold of Serenity. We'll bring you on again. It's good to
All
meet
right.
you. And thanks
Good to
for
meet you as well, Colin.
yeah, thanks for coming on. I guess from there we should probably close it out here. You can find me here on Breaking the Fourth Wall on Facebook, on YouTube, or else you can email me at colinwashburn@gmail.com um, for more information, or if you just want to say hi. Serenity, you want to tell her where you can get a hold of you, or you just want me to leave messages for you?
They could, you could contact Colin, any of the Breaking the Fourth Wall crew, or look me up at Vinyl Prophet Records, Prophet, and that's it.
All
Facebook,
right.
YouTube, everything.
All right, and well, James, I don't know if you have anything out there public or not. But if not, we can always just have Serenity message you for us.
Not really. I'm just a dude enjoying concerts.
All right. Well, when we want a listener or a viewer opinion about something, then maybe we'll look you up and have you sit in with us.
Hey, yeah,
Hell yeah.
I'm down.
All right, James. Thanks a lot. And this
Hey,
has been
Yay.
take care. Thank you.
breaking the fourth wall. Signing off. Thanks for joining us.